If I were planning to sell my own home this year, there are 5 things that I would do before I even put it on the market. And most of those things don't even have anything to do with paint colors or staging. Because the homeowners who tend to have the smoothest and most profitable transactions are usually the ones who prepare strategically before they even list. So today I want to go over my top 5 things that I would personally focus on if I were getting ready to sell my house and buy my next one. Hi, I'm Allie Hudler with the Hudler Homes team of Compass Real Estate, and if you already own a home and you're thinking about making your next move, this video is for you. Because selling a home is not about just getting it listed. The preparation phase often determines how stressful the process feels, how strong your leverage is, and how smooth the transition will actually unfold. The first thing I would do is actually understand my equity first. Before looking at houses online, before mentally preparing and planning renovations, and actually just making assumptions on what you think you could be doing, I would make it very clear that I know how much my home is worth, at least a price range there, how much money I will walk away with after the sale and net proceeds, after paying any seller concessions, agent compensation, transfer taxes, closing costs, all of those things add up. We would actually want to look at a real conversation about what that money actually will be in your pocket after you sell the house. Because at the end of the day, once you know how much money you have to use from the sale of your home, you can understand then how much you have to buy your next house. So that will give you a great understanding of your buying power. And once you really understand that, mapping your move becomes a whole lot easier. And I think a lot of homeowners actually create a little more stress before they actually understand the numbers. So let's make sure we map your equity first. The second thing I would do is I would actually think about the next phase of my life, not just the next house. So a lot of people are thinking, okay, how much money do I need to buy the biggest house, or what's that monthly payment look like? But in reality, you are moving for a reason. You probably want to understand what that next home looks like. How does it fit your lifestyle? Are you looking for less maintenance? Are you looking for more space for your kid? Maybe your family's grown. Are you looking for better flow and functionality actually in the home itself? I know floor plans can be a big thing. Some people, they're coming from a smaller home and everything's right on top of each other. They think, I want more space, I want more rooms, I want things separate. Other people are like, actually, I want more of an open floor plan. So we're always thinking about how that will feel to you and what you're really looking for. Some people are concerned about schools. Maybe they want an easier commute to their job. So there's a lot of different reasons that you need to think about not just the home itself, but the location and how that affects your daily life. Oftentimes, people even want to look for different outdoor space, especially if you're moving from the city. A lot of people in the city are used to having maybe a rooftop deck or a small patio out back, but they don't have a yard. And I know that was one big factor for our family is we wanted to have a yard that our kids could run around and play. So what does that yard feel like? What does that space look like to you? Do you want a lot of green space where you can have people, flat surface, people hanging out outside? Do you want tons of acreage where some of it's maybe protected forest or something a little bit larger that you don't have as many neighbors around? So lots of different factors beyond just the home itself. Definitely thinking about how that next house, neighborhood, location will impact what you're looking for. And really, the best moves are not just about square footage, it's truly about your lifestyle. The third thing I could consider is just preparing earlier than I think I need to start. A lot of families who move end up scrambling at the last minute, but the ones who are really successful and have a much smoother transition are the ones who start early. And that could be decluttering slowly. We all have so much stuff. I know I'm guilty of it, especially if you've lived in a home for a while. We always accumulate a lot of things around our house. So start to pare them down. That could mean your closets, I think, are one place. Closets and garages, people always stuff stuff in there just to get them off your countertops, off, out of the cabinets. Just start to make things a little bit cleaner, a little bit simpler, and start depersonalizing as well. That means family photos or anything that you have on the wall that doesn't feel neutral enough for any buyers coming into your home. They want to just envision that home and how they could fit into that home, rather than seeing your stuff and being distracted by how you're currently living there. They really want to understand how they can make it their own. That also means just organizing paperwork. If you have maintenance items, I always tell people, if you can give me a list of all of the updates that you've made in the home, I'd love to share that with prospective buyers, because if you've replaced your roof or your HVAC, your water heater, you've upgraded countertops, maybe you replaced windows, anything you've done to make that home a little bit better is always something great that we can share with buyers. They're looking for peace of mind. They want to know what's done, and being able to share a list of everything you've done just makes them feel like, wow, the sellers really did a lot. They've added a lot of value since they bought the house. So start thinking through things like that and getting your paperwork in a row that way. And the next step in preparing is just really thinking about your timeline. So once you know your equity, do you have to sell first, or can you buy first and then sell? And that's always a conversation that we have around when you're looking to move, is what does that timeline look like? Because if you're super strong financially, you can afford to carry 2 mortgages at the same time. A lot of people will opt to buy their house first. That way they know they can find exactly what they want. They're not rushed when selling and then feel they have to just find something to buy just to get themselves into a home. But on the flip side, if you do have to sell first, we can always make that happen. There's something called a seller's home of choice contingency. You can ask for a longer settlement period and up to a 60-day post-settlement occupancy. So talking through that timeline is really crucial, because then we know how to approach either your purchase or your sale first, and also trying to time them together so it doesn't feel like there's a ton of overlap either way. And when you do this, it creates more options for you, and options will reduce your stress and makes things a lot simpler. The next thing I would think about is not over updating my house just to over update it. A lot of people get a little more emotional when it comes to this. They want to make their house perfect. I've had clients tell me a whole range of things that they want to do before they list the house, and sometimes it doesn't always make sense to me. So we'll usually walk through the home, and I'll give a list myself. And if you're planning to live in the home while you have it on the market, I love to send Brittany Owings, my great friend who's an interior designer. She will walk through, and just like I would, but she dives in even deeper. She'll go room by room with you and tell you, let's move this piece of furniture here. Let's take these things off the wall. Maybe you actually need to add a picture to the wall or something like that. But she'll go and give you a checklist, boom, 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 all the things that you could possibly do to make your house really shine. And I tell you, that goes a long way. My clients love it, because sometimes you don't have to overdo a renovation. People are really just looking for something that's clean, that's bright, that's well maintained, and something that they don't have to immediately sink a ton of money into. So of course, if there's something that's really in disrepair that we need to take care of before you list, by all means, we're going to want to do that. But if you want to keep things a little bit simpler, of course, paint, that goes a long way too. And staging, whether you're living there or we bring in stage furniture, that is also very key. I think a lot of times you don't have to go renovate a bathroom, you don't have to renovate the kitchen, but some smaller strategic things can really go a long way. The next thing I would do is really just create that plan before falling in love with the next house. I know a lot of people, when they're thinking about moving, they immediately want to jump and go start to look at homes. But that's not always the best thing. And I want to make sure that you know your financing, whether you're going to be contingent or not, and what does that timing look like? Can we get your house on the market? Do we need to wait? And how much money will you have, right? Because that's a huge thing. That will be really important when we go to make your offer, how much money you're putting down. And if it's competitive, we may also look at different terms that can really strengthen your next offer, whether that's potentially covering an appraisal gap or maybe covering seller transfer fees. We don't see that as often lately, but it does happen. Sometimes you may also want to put in an escalation on your price. And of course, you want to have money on hand for any unexpected items that are going to happen once you move in. No home's perfect, and we've seen it all the time. People buy a house that feels great in the inspection, but then all of a sudden a crazy rainstorm comes in and oh gosh, there's a leak now, and you have to plan for things like that. So making sure that you have money set aside for the purchase, anything that you want to use to be super competitive in your offer, and also having that emergency fund later. So we don't want to overextend on any of the money that you have to actually put into your purchase. But that will be really, really helpful to know when you're going to sell, so we can understand where you're trying to get for your next move. Because really, the strongest transitions usually happen when strategy comes first and the emotion behind everything comes second. I've noticed that a lot of move-up sellers are really not chasing perfection. They're looking for something that's easier, something that's more functional, and a home that just has more breathing room for themselves and their families. So when a move is approached thoughtfully, it can feel really empowering and exciting instead of chaotic. So if you're starting to think about selling your home and buying your next home, I would love to chat with you. I know this can be a crazy time, but the best thing to do is just create that strategy really early on, and it will make your move so much smoother. And that's exactly what we do when we have a Map Your Move strategy session. We'll dig into your equity, your timing, your preparation that's needed, any leverage that you have with your current home, contingencies that you might have in place, and just the next steps in general for that transition. So if you'd like to chat, I think the best thing to do is hop on a quick call first and see where you're at right now, see what kind of updates you've done in your home, and start to understand what you're looking to do with your next step. But ultimately, I always love to get into my clients' houses. I love to meet with them in person, walk through the house, see how it feels, give my recommendations on what they might need to do to get it ready, and also just, again, talk through the next steps of what they can expect, what's really important to you, and that way we can help you understand what you need in your life, what the next step looks like, and then help you map everything from there. So I'm Allie Hudler with Compass. I would love to talk to you soon. Thank you.